Gemini here, some backyard astronomy. It is March 29th, 5:55 a.m. and I'm recording from home in Sobrante, California. Short video today. Mostly I just want to show you what the sky looks like a day and an hour later, because there was a recording yesterday, March 28th, at about 4:40 a.m. So one of the significant differences is the moon. Not only the moon waxing and waning, which is actually really hard to see when the camera's receiving enough light to see the stars. The moon just always looks full, but right now the moon actually is full. The moon was full yesterday around 12 p.m. So moon moves on average 13 degrees per day. She's about 11 degrees past that point right now. So yesterday we saw a moon. Let's see if we can get oriented. See some stars that we're looking at. Well, yesterday moon when we came out was about 3.5 Libra. And gosh, she's just so bright it's hard to see. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you're picking this up on your screen. But you can definitely see Spica, or Spica, Chitra here. The shaft of wheat the priestess of the heavens holds. The star I want to show you is this Porrima. Porrima 10 degrees tropical Libra. Spica 24 degrees tropical Libra. And if you watched the video yesterday, you'll know that the moon is well north of the ecliptic right now. Her nodes are in Gemini, which is down below the ground over there, and in Sagittarius, which is up here behind the trees. Actually, that's where the moon will cross back south over the ecliptic plane. Sorry, we've got a dog itching to bump the tripod. And so the ecliptic's like this, coming just over Spica here. It's more like this. Let me see if I can. I'm looking for Regulus over to the right of the frame. I can't see Regulus. So, yeah, anyway, it's kind of, the ecliptic's like this. So I can learn these stars like Porrima 10 Libra, Spica 24 Libra, and you can see the moon's much closer to 24 Libra than 10 Libra, right? So how close? Probably about 20 degrees Libra right now. And I'm just casting a chart on a phone app to find that moon is, 19 degrees and 38 minutes Libra. So peace and love, right? Which is why I guess the dog and the cat are below the camera fighting right now. I think it's play. Okay, so let me just look here. This is the last thing I want to show you today. So priestess scales. Let me just pause. And maybe I'll take the moon out of the frame so we can see the scales better. This is Zubin al-Janubi and Zubin al-Shamali. So the scales like this. And then comes the scorpion, right? Well, the scorpion's completely behind this tree. Some of the stars are so bright we'll see them shining through the tree. But I think we'll take a walk to the other side of the yard and see if we can get a better view. But you can see this amazing twinkler starting to show. And that's Antares, the heart of the scorpion. It's 10 Sag. That's actually very close to where the south lunar node is right now. So more of that another time. But let me show you in our kind of gap here. This is the top of the Archer, or the teapot, these stars here like this. So we better go get another view. You know, when you can't see the scorpion, and if you're in the northern hemisphere like me, you can work with the constellation north of the scorpion, who's Ophiuchus. This is the head of Ophiuchus here. Okay, he's a huge constellation. And then Ophiuchus holds the serpent. It's like this. And the serpent snakes up towards the northern crown. It's another thing where we want to get away from the house and have a view, so take a walk with me real quick. It's gonna get blurry. Okay, well now at least we can see the scorpion. Let me walk a little bit further. There we go. Now we can see the whole scorpion. Remember, the scale stars were once called the claws, that the scorpion reaches all the way out there. Now folks usually show the claws around right here, just emanating from these three. This is Grapheus, or Teshuba, which is just below the ecliptic. And Zubenel Janubi is right on the ecliptic, right? It's the scales here. So Zubenel Janubi running above Grapheus, running well above Antares. There's a star of Ophiuchus who stands on the ecliptic. It's here. It's one of the reasons why the astronomers are trying to say Ophiuchus is a 13th zodiac sign, which is, oh, just a clear admission of how disconnected they have gotten from the sacred science. But it's a rant for another time, okay? So here's the scorpion. This is Antares, the heart of the scorpion. The scorpion hooks it down like this, and then tail. Now, in other places, the scorpion's going to appear this way. That's called the southern hemisphere, where the tail, you know, let's see how that would look. It's hard to do. The tail will go like this. In Hawaii, the scorpion rises like this, with its tail here, and it's called Maui's fish hook. That Maui used to fish the islands up. I mean, Hawaii, but also Tahiti. It's like Polynesia. Unfortunately, with this tree, I cannot show you the archer at all, but the archer's arrow is about here. And the archer's arrow and the scorpion's tail point to galactic center, which we are certainly not seeing the Milky Way this close to the cities sometimes, but definitely not with a full moon in the sky, okay? At some point during the course of the course, I will get out of town and show you these beings that hopefully, if you're watching these videos, you'll be very familiar with. Hopefully, much more so watching them in your own sky. And then I'll get out of town and show you what it looks like. Oh, when the sky is in a more natural state. Okay, so yeah, let's play the Ophiuchus game. We'll kind of go up a little bit. Ophiuchus is giant. This triangle is kind of the head. I don't want to confuse you with a bunch of star names, but it's like, you know, this kind of huge, like, trapezoid. Often you'll see trapezoids used for bodies. And then the head. And then there's legs down here. But then Ophiuchus is the serpent tender, which is maybe a more interesting way to remember. This is the serpent here, snaking up to approach the northern crown. Let me pause here. So hard with this much moonlight. Here's the northern crown. And then, as long as we're up high, let's go meet this very bright star, who is Arcturus. Arcturus now, in the lower left of your frame. Very bright star there. The reason why I wanted to move the camera this far over, I actually want to go a little bit further, is the arc of the Big Dipper, who you can see here, an asterism of the Big Bear. We say follow the arc to Arcturus. See that? So that'll always hold true. Regardless of where you are, if the Big Dipper is in your sky, you can follow the arc of its well, of the giant bear's tail, the arc of the Dipper to Arcturus. And we say arc to Arcturus, and then spike to Spica, which again is right next to the moon here. And so one way that we learn our way around the sky is like this, doing some star jumping. Just finally, it's not too clear out right now, but I'm just seeing a lion star. This is Denebola. This is the tail of the lion. The ecliptic is much further south of most of the lion, not Regulus. Regulus is behind the fence. But so here's our ecliptic. Closer to Spica, like that. Okay, one more thing, as long as we're playing with bears. The bears. Let's go back up here. So, one that I've created for myself, and I'm sure I'm not the first to, and we're not going to be able to show it right now, but if you drill a little hole in the bottom of the Dipper's cup, which is here, right? So this is the cup of the Dipper, and this is the handle. If you drill a little hole in the bottom, the water is going to spill out on the celestial lion. It's a fun one. But the one certainly that we use the Big Dipper for more than anything else, even more than follow the arc to Arcturus, is that Dipper points to North Star. And this will be a serious focus for us in Chapter 2, The Cross of Matter, where we're all about getting directions. And, right, Northern Hemisphere thing, this is North Star. This is the North Celestial Pole Star. We'll be speaking much more about that. So, if you'll see, the Dipper, instead of following the arc, which goes to Arcturus, or following the drip to the lion, here we can take the so-called pointer stars, 1, 2, and they point to Polaris. Now, it's not a straight line, as you can see. It's about that distance. Another 4 takes you to Polaris. Polaris, not a particularly bright star in the sky, certainly the brightest thing that's around there, and it's the tail of the Little Dipper, which you really can't see in the sky at all, but this is the cup of the Little Dipper, and the tail goes down like this. There's a lion or dragon that snakes between them. We'll wait for another time for the celestial dragon and its amazement. But for now, just learning to get to Polaris from the Dipper, massively helpful. We can learn to do this from Cassiopeia as well. I'm not seeing much of Cassiopeia right now. This is part of Cassiopeia's W. So some of it's behind the house like this. But Cassiopeia generally opens up towards the ecliptic. It won't look like a W for long. Well, the sun's going to rise. But the whole sky is spinning about that star. Sky spinning from the east to the west. So when we're looking north, that is the counterclockwise direction. So Cassiopeia is kind of like in W mode right now. We'll soon be up here as a 3. Later we'll be up here as an M. The Dipper now, left and below Polaris will soon be down below. And then we'll come up on the right side and then above like that. And that'll be a primary focus for Chapter 2. So, time for me to go inside and record a class. See ya in space.